Hi YouTube subscribers, hi YouTube world. So I wanted to make another video talking about the Nclex, and as I sit here, waiting, it's now Monday. For those of you who didn't watch my last video, I took it on Saturday, and I'm still waiting for my results. But anyways, I was sitting here thinking, trying to get my mind off of the test. I keep checking the website for the state board. Still do not see my results. And it just is very frustrating. So instead of just sitting there and keep, refreshing and torturing myself, refreshing the website, I decided to watch a movie, try to relax. It's kind of been an emotional roller coaster the last few days, kind of like nursing school. But anyway, so what I was thinking about was, I don't even really know what made me think it, but I was thinking how sometimes, I think just this whole process of waiting and your anxiety building and your mind kind of going everywhere as far as what's going to happen if I fail, what's going to happen if I pass, just a million thoughts and emotions going on right now. And I was just thinking how, I know that I'm a smart person, and I should feel confident that I've passed because I did a lot of hard work. I busted my ass basically to get where I am as far as passing nursing school, and what I did to prepare for the Nclex. So I should be, not being negative and not beating myself up about, the things I might not have done, like UWorld or whatever. And I'm just thinking about how, why am I not feeling, more positive? Why can't, I know that I'll feel better if I just kind of distract myself and be positive. I know this. I also have a psychology degree, but just because you know something doesn't mean you want to do it. I know if I go to the gym right now, I'll probably feel better. I know that from nursing school. I know that from psychology. It's just common knowledge that when you work out, you let off endorphins, and I know it's going to distract me, but it's just so hard to get yourself motivated when you're just kind of in a funk. And I kind of feel like I'm being tortured right now. So I know how to make myself feel better is to distract myself, to go work out, to go for a walk, to watch funny things. But it's it's so hard though when you're going through something to do the things that make you feel better. It's hard to explain, but anybody who's gone through depression or anything like that, it kind of feels like that to me, when I've been really depressed or in a funk, going through a breakup or something, the things to do to make yourself feel better, but it's you can't motivate yourself to do them, / you feel like I should feel miserable right now, which is a terrible way to think, but that's kind of how I feel, oh, I should be going through all the emotions right now or something, I should be in limbo and I shouldn't be celebrating because I don't know, I don't want to build my hopes up and then have them crash to the ground. And I feel like that's part of the reason why it's so hard to get out of when you're in a negative spot, because one, you don't have the motivation. Even if you know what you should be doing, you don't have the motivation. You just don't feel like being when you're not happy, you don't want to do happy things. And / you also are like, I've had a lot of negative experiences in my life, so I feel like that kind of shaped me into being a little bit of a pessimist, even though I work on that, like, every day. But yeah, it's like really hard when you've been let down so many times in life, like, to build yourself up, because I failed before, I've had this thing happen to me, that thing happen to me. It's really hard to be positive. Like, even though I know that's what I need to do right now, it's like, it's so difficult. So I think those two things. And the third thing, like, I feel like sometimes our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness, and vice versa. And I was just thinking about that. And then I even read an article, because I'm like, I think that's like a really valid idea, that sometimes, like, I know I'm really smart, I know I do really well on tests, I'm like quick to learn like new skills or whatever, like I pick up on things pretty fast. And just overall, I know that I've been good in school, but I'm also I feel like I've come a long way as far as like street smarts and stuff. Anyways, like, I'm good at adapting, but I feel like that's also part of the reason why it's like torturing me right now, because my brain is just kind of like, it never wants to shut off. So it's like I'm having a million thoughts at once, like good and bad. And so I feel like it is my strength that I am really smart, but at the same time, it can be my weakness, because it can make me start going down the rabbit hole of like what ifs, and going really negative sometimes, like super negative. I can go super negative and super dark, like really quickly, which I work on, but which is partly why I think, too, a lot of people that are really smart, they say, deal with anxiety, which I do. I've dealt with it, for several years, pretty much since I was an adult. I've had, well, probably even younger, I've had anxiety, but it got really bad for a few years right after college. And I think a lot of intelligent people suffer from that as well, just because we have such imaginations and everything, that our brains can go like super negative and worrying about things that other people probably don't even think about, doesn't even cross their mind. But for somebody who's smart and everything, I think that it does. And I remember I read, I was in a bookstore one time and getting books, and I like glanced through the self-help books. Like, not that I wanted to get a self-help book, but I like walked by and I saw a book about anxiety. And this was at the time I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I had just moved to Arizona. Like, my whole life had been uprooted. I already had anxiety, and then that just like, made it even probably 10 times worse in the beginning. And I came across this book, this self-help book, that said, like, don't feel bad if you have anxiety, that a lot of like really smart people have anxiety, because it makes sense for the reasons I just said. Like, you overthink everything, and sometimes that's a good thing. Like, I feel like I did really good in nursing school. Like, I went to a really hard school, and nursing school in general is really hard. And I feel like that helped me so much with the tests and everything. Being a good test taker and being able to understand, like, the new content. But at the same time, sometimes it can be my weakness, because you can use your intelligence for good things, but you can also use it for bad things, like worrying about things that you shouldn't even worry about. But I think also, so it kind of goes both ways. Like, I feel like your greatest weakness can be your greatest strength as well. Like I said, like I feel like I wouldn't have survived nursing school if I wasn't smart, but on the same token, it can drive me nuts sometimes, like how I think about everything a million ways and like overthink everything. Even like simple decisions, I can overthink sometimes. Um, yeah, and I feel like it's the same way too. Like I feel like I'm a very sensitive person, and I feel like that's a good thing in a lot of ways. Like I'm a very caring person. I'm very empathetic, but sometimes it's like it can be overwhelming sometimes. Um, which I think is part of the reason drew me to nursing, is that I love helping people and everything, but sometimes it's hard to leave stuff you see at the hospital or clinical sites sometimes, like because you feel for people. And but I just want to make this video. It's just saying that I wouldn't change it anyway. I am the way I am. It's not like I can change it. But I think that I'm trying to make this positive. Like, what I'm trying to say is that even though I struggle a lot with different things, if you look at it another way, like, some of those weaknesses are also your strengths, just depending on how you use them. And I think it's really good to know what your strengths, what you're really good at, because that probably means you also struggle with it as well, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I feel like even though these few days are horrible, like I said, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating well. I've had like a headache / migraine. But I know it's just like a stress migraine. It's not like what I normally get, a hormonal migraine. Yeah, I've had that the last few days, and I just don't want to do anything. Like, usually I want to go to the gym. I'm just in this like torturous funk, where like I want to know my results, but I don't want to know. And then when I get the courage to look at it, it's still not up. But on the plus side, I feel like it's given me time to think and reflect a lot. And I'm realizing that I can use like my brain in good ways, or I can use it in bad ways. So right now I'm trying to be positive, and even though I don't feel like doing things, sometimes you have to. Like, it's kind of like when you don't want to get out of the house or you don't want to go to work, but like that's the thing that will make you feel better, like after a death or after a divorce or something. That's kind of how I feel right. Like, I'm not saying I'm going through that. But I'm saying I'm going through something difficult right now, and like when I've gone through a breakup or whatever, this is kind of how I feel. And it's hard to do the things you know that will make you feel better, even though you know they'll make you feel better, but you just don't want to. Yeah, so anyway, if you guys can relate to this at all, if you've taken the Nclex, or you have questions about the Nclex, or if you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, please leave me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and please like this video. And I'll be getting back to you guys soon. Hopefully I will know my results by tomorrow. I should know, because they say it takes 48 hours. I'm thinking it's just taking a while because I took it on Saturday. I was so excited, well, not excited, but I was excited to get this part, these last few days, over with, and I woke up early, ran to my laptop, and my results were not there, and I've been checking throughout the day, and it's still not up. But I'll let you guys know what happens. Okay, well, till next time, bye guys.